Alright peeps, what happens when a dev team gets blackout drunk while playing Dark and Darker? They go, you know what, I can do better than this. I'm going to chuck an anime skin on it and then make a load of battle passes. That, my friends, is Dungeon Stalkers.
All I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
This isn't a subtle Frankenstein of a dungeon crawling game. There's extraction survival, mobile monetization. You dive in, you fight monsters, you dodge traps. Before you can even swing your sword at it, the game's whispering, wanna buy a battle pass? This isn't subtle. It's a Frankenstein dungeon crawling, extraction, survival and mobile monetization freak. You dive in, you fight monsters, you dodge traps, and before you can even swing your sword, the game's going, want to buy a Prime account? How about a 3-hour booster? Maybe you're looking for a costume with some durability. Yeah, forget Dark and Darker. This is swipe your card and darker. Okay, let's start with the good news. So this game isn't a complete dumpster fire. It's a dungeon stalking PvPvE dungeon crawling game where you drop into randomly generated labyrinths full of monsters, traps, curses, and of course sweaty players lurking in the shadows waiting to clap your cheeks the second you let your guard down. If you played Dark and Darker, you know the loop. Loot as much as you can, survive long enough to escape through a portal, and then pray your greed doesn't get you killed. Dungeon Stalkers basically takes that formula, puts it in a third person, spices it up with 9 playable characters that they call Stalkers. Here's where it gets fun. Each Stalker isn't just a skin swap. They've got unique weapons, abilities, and even playstyles. You've got Baron, the grappling hook fighter, who can yank their enemies across the room like scorpions, screaming, "Get over here!" You've got your typical anime sorceress that blasts fireballs and cries about running out of mana halfway through the map. You've got your sword and board tanks reflecting the damage, and rogues that sprint around looting like they're in Walmart on Black Friday. I'll give it credit, they nailed the class variety. Every Stalker feels different. The swapping between them actually changes the game style and how you play. You're not just a warrior with fire or a warrior with ice. You have kits and you have personality. Outer raid progression is surprisingly meaty too. Room pages let you specialise, want more damage, cool. Want to chug potions faster like you're downing vodka shots at a uni party, that's fine as well. Also, you've got options. Exploration perks like opening doors quicker and looting faster actually matter when seconds mean survival. And then there's the hideout. So that's really where Tarkov players will feel right at home here. Except instead of grimy realism, it's all anime knights sitting by campfires, upgrading their crafting benches and pretending this isn't just another progression treadmill. Craft gear, stash loot, upgrade your facilities. We know the model, it works, it's addictive. It's the kind of meta loop that keeps you logging back in. So on paper, it's solid. But like most good things in life, when reality shows up and smacks you in the face, it's maybe not as good as you thought. Now let's talk about combat, because this is where it goes from promising to why am I swinging my broadsword in quicksand? Dungeon Stalkers melee combat feels like you're wading through maple syrup. Every attack has weight, which is cool, but when you realise weight actually means it swings well but you don't hit anything, and you click the button and you wait and pray that you're actually going to connect, that's not good. And you're praying that your sword connects rather than you get kilted into oblivion. Melee characters, you're basically medieval punching bags. Pick the sword and shield and knight, and congratulations, you've just signed up for the world's slowest duel club. You'll spend fights waddling towards enemies while they chip away at your health bar like termites eating a log. Meanwhile, the range classes are laughing their asses off. Play a mage and suddenly the game feels completely different. Fireballs, lightning, magic missiles, all flying faster than your melee animation even finishes winding up. You're zapping enemies from across the dungeon while mobs jog towards you at speed like a hungover toddler. Balance in this game is non-existent. Range completely dominates, melee suffers, and the gear RNG decides the rest. If you've got a trash roll on your equipment, you might as well start writing your own obituary mid-raid. And since PvP is the core of this experience, the gear gap is brutal. A geared range stalker versus a fresh melee player isn't a fight, it's a war crime. And to make matters worse, The AI is about as threatening as a wet sponge. Skeletons and goblins can be baited into predictable loops. Boss fights, half the time you can kite them around a pillar until they die of boredom. It's not scary, it's not challenging, it's exploit the pattern and win. So the combat is flashy, sure. Animations look good, hits feel chunky, but in terms of balance, it's like the devs rolled the dice and said, good enough, let's focus on selling the anime swimsuit bundle instead. I'll give credit where it's due. The dungeons in Dungeon Stalkers look incredible. At first glance, you've got creepy corridors dripping with water, torchlight casting flickering shadows on the damp stone. The whole thing feels like you're walking into a medieval nightmare. It nails that claustrophobic, oh shit, what's around the corner vibe perfectly. Skeletons rattling in the dark, ruined temples collapsing around you, the curse when it explodes, the whole shock of it all, the crypt doors groaning open like they've been waiting for centuries just to ruin your day. It sells the fantasy. For a moment you think, damn, this is actually atmospheric. This is Diablo 4 levels of moody, oppressive dungeon crawling, maybe? Until you move. And then you realise immersion just got thrown out of the nearest dungeon window. Because when you try and turn your character, there's no transition animation, no subtle lean, no weight shift, nothing. You just spin, instantly like a Beyblade in a plate armour. 1 second you're creeping down a dark hallway and the next you're doing a 180-degree ballerina pirouette in full night gear. And it looks ridiculous. It's less dark fantasy adventure and more possessed office chair with a sword. And the thing is, this game is constantly at war with itself. It wants to be immersive, but then your character just T-poses their way into a spin cycle, like a Skyrim NPC on meth. In strolls the anime cosplay squad with jiggle factor. You've got knights in neon armour, witches with boob windows big enough to break the immersion faster than any bug, and rogues dressed like they're moonlighting at a convention. It's like Diablo crashed into Genshin Impact and then Genshin cosplay players actually won the fight. Audio is similar. Some of it is excellent. The clang of the shield, the bash, the snap of a bowstring, the thud of mace smashing into a skeleton skull. The ambient noises like distant growls and dripping water crank the tension nicely. But then half the time there's nothing, just awkward, barren silence. Not spooky silence, not tense survival horror silence, just did I mute my headphones silence. You're fighting for your life against a horde of skeletons and it feels like you're punching drywall in a padded cell. The animations are slick, grappling hooks snapping your enemy across the room looks sick, the fireball exploding in a burst of sparks really good, shields clanging against weapons have weight, but then you remember your character can spin like a dreidel and suddenly all that animation polish doesn't mean squat. Performance is solid too, no Tarkov style lag spikes that I saw when someone sneezes in another room. Lighting looked great, the creeping shadows were really good, the dungeon walls beautiful. But the UI is a disaster. It doesn't feel like a gritty extraction game, it feels like a mobile gacha store. Flashy icons, premium crystal counters, you looking like two babes sat waiting to go out to a nightclub in your base. The other thing, I was going through the store and there's a schoolgirl's outfit. Who is this game aimed at? Out of the immersion of this whole fucking video review just got out the window with that comment. So yeah, Dungeon Stalkers has atmosphere. It nails immersion until your character Beyblades across the room and a cosplayer with glowing neon armor ruins the whole vibe. And the flashy icons, premium crystal counters shoved in your face and tabs that scream, spend money here, it's clean. But it's soulless, it's designed to milk you, not immerse you. It's the perfect summary of this game. Constant battle between the cool design and the absolute clownery. And here we go, the real endgame of Dungeon Stalkers. You thought the Skeleton King was the final boss? Wrong. You thought the giant ogre was the toughest fight? Wrong again. The actual raid boss here is the cash shop and it's level 99 pay to win. Let's start with the basics. The game has wish stones, the premium currency, fine, we've seen that before. But the sheer amount of monetization in here, it's just like the devs unlocked every possible microtransaction template in Unreal Engine and just copy and pasted them all in. You want faster XP? Buy a booster. More loot from the dungeons? Buy a booster. Want to craft faster in your hideout? Membership plan. Want priority matchmaking so you don't have to wait in the queue? Prime account, baby. You want to look cool? $40 anime costume bundles. But oh wait, Some costumes have durability. Yes, you heard that right. Your sexy anime school uniform can wear out in battle. You've now invented the first ever video game that makes you re-buy cosplay. Thanks. I hate it. And this isn't just cosmetic fluff, this is power. Prime players get priority matchmaking and stash expansion. Membership players get extra dungeon runs and market slots. Premium pass players get actual gear and loot, while free players are left holding a pile of breadcrumbs. You either pay up or you crawl behind like a medieval beggar asking whales for scraps. The funniest part, they call it prime matching, which is just a fancy way of saying pay to not fight free to play peasants. Imagine Dark and Darker matchmaking where the VIP players get their own velvet rope club while everyone else has to fight in the parking lot. Oh, and the bundles. Oh god, the bundles. The Destiny bundles. Academy uniform bundles. Dawnlight bundles. Every one of them looking more like they were designed by a Gacha game committee that had one rule: more cleavage equals more revenue. And look, I'm not judging anyone's taste, but when the cash shop has more variety than the actual Stalker roster, maybe we've got our priorities slightly backwards here. Here's the real tragedy. The bones of this game are good. The core loop is addictive. The dungeons are fun and the stalkers are interesting. This could have been the scrappy anime cousin to Dark and Darker. Instead, it's a mall, a big shiny neon mall where every hallway has a shopkeeper shoving boosters, costumes and limited time offers in your face. This game didn't just add monetization, it weaponized it. It's less dungeon stalkers and more wallet stalkers. The real horror here isn't the skeletons in the dark. It's opening the store tab and realizing the skeleton is in your bank account, people. So yeah, the real boss fight isn't in the dungeon. The real boss fight is resisting the urge to swipe your credit card and buy a big bosomed babe. Outside of the dungeon, Dungeon Stalkers actually gives you a surprising amount to do. Room pages, hideout upgrades, crafting, trading. It's not just raid, stash, repeat. You've got systems on systems, all designed to make you feel like you're progressing. Room pages let you min-max like a psycho, want to chuck potions like a frat bro at 2 AM, done. You want to loot doors 25% faster so you can end your teammates' treasure. Also an option. Hideout upgrades let you build the little anime shack into a potion factory. Stash expansion keeps your loot hoarding problem alive. And crafting gives you something to grind towards. And on paper, it's addicting. It's smart, it's the kind of metagame loop that should keep you hooked long after the dungeon run ends. But, and here's the catch, every one of these systems feels less like progression and more like a hamster wheel with a toll booth. Daily quests that hand you scraps, weekly quests that turn to keep you logging in like clockwork, and always pay to skip. These options are dangling in your face all the time. You don't want to grind? Pay up. Don't want to wait for an upgrade timer? Pay up. Don't want to play 50 raids for a rune? Pay up. That's the tragedy here, because it's a good game. The dungeons are tense, the stalkers are fun, the systems are clever. Like we've said, it could have been anime Dark and Darker that's found its own weird addictive niche. Instead, it's a casino with a dungeon problem. At its best, you're hooked by flashy combat, deep progression, and the sweet loot rush when you escape alive. At its worst, you're staring at a battle pass, a prime account, a membership, and $40 cosplay bundles, wondering if the real horror wasn't the dungeon but your credit card bill. So yeah, Dungeon Stalkers is fun. It can be addictive. It's worth playing, but it's also proof that monetization is the true end boss of modern gaming. And unlike a dungeon ogre, this boss never dies. Swipe and darker indeed. So yeah, Dungeon Stalkers is a game that somehow manages to be fun, addictive, atmospheric, and also the most shameless cash grab since Diablo Immortal. It's got good bones, but the devs buried those bones under a mountain of booster packs and anime cosplay bundles. If you enjoyed watching me roast this Beyblade simulator masquerading as a dungeon crawler, do me a solid, smash the like button harder than a mage spamming fireballs, subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown, and ring the bell on YouTube so it actually tells you when I post. And hey, drop a comment, tell me if you played this, if you've survived without spending a dime, or if you fell victim to a $40 boob armor bundle. I want to know, you guys see the same red flags as I do, or if I'm just crazy? Because this is the future of gaming, folks. Fun ideas ruined by monetization, and the only way you fight back is by calling it out. TJ Shizzle out. Remember, in Dungeon Stalkers, the real loot was the friends we made along the paywall. Beautiful. Laters.